Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Kano Tryharding Modern, Return of the Tron. Now, today we'll be playing something slightly different than usual, something that has been requested of me that I've honestly forgotten about many times, but that is to play Golos Tron, and I recently acquired 3 Goloses, and there was a recent 5.0 Golos Tron list, so we're gonna try it out and see if it's any good. So what is Golos Tron? Well, it revolves around Golos, Tireless Pilgrim here. Golos is a 5-mana 3/5 artifact creature that when he enters the battlefield, you can search your library for any land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. And then you can pay 1 of each color of mana and 2 colorless, and exile the top 3 cards of your library, then cast them this turn without paying their mana costs. So why does Tron play Golos? It's basically to tutor up this land, which is Cascading Cataracts. It is an indestructible land that you can pay 5 mana of any color and add 5 mana in any combination of colors. So if you have Tron plus Cascading Cataracts, you have exactly enough mana to activate Golos' second ability, which, because you are in a deck full of 5 to 10 drops, you can then cast hopefully 3 of them for free off the top of your deck. It's just another way to get a little more advantage out of the Tron engine. In a pinch, Golos can go tutor up whatever Tron piece you're missing. That could actually make a difference. And other than that, we're playing just regular old Tron. We've got a smaller than usual wish board with a ballista in the side as well as the main. Wormcoil, Trinisphere, Ensnaring Bridge, Spyglass, Coating, and Cage. I'm a little sad to see no Pithing Needle. I think Pithing Needle is kind of important. We also have no main deck relics or Thrag Tusks to make room for the Golos. And we are running 19 land as opposed to 18, which does... I mean, it's slightly... It's a consideration you got to account for, I guess. Other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and run this through a league, and we'll see what happens. So I'll see you all in round 1. All right, round 1, and we're on the play. I would like to play first. That's a mulligan. This is also a mulligan, although it's not as bad. Opponent is on a Lurrus deck of some kind. Oh gosh, no lands. Perfect. We gotta put 3 cards back, so we'll put back an Ugin, a Stirrings, and a Star. Okay. So start mine, map, pass the turn. If this is Death Shadow, we'll at least have Tron and be able to cast our threats in relatively short order. I expect my opponent to start on a Thoughtseize, yep. So they're going to take Ugin, which is fine, because we're still going to assemble Tron. Oh, on an unrelated note, I just remembered this. I did pre-order some Strixhaven booster packs, well, booster boxes. I'm going to do some booster box opening, and hopefully that should be a lot of fun. I'm going to do at least 1 booster box opening for it on the channel. It's been a long time since I've actually collected paper Magic cards, so I'm looking forward to that. Opponent Thoughtseizes away our Walking Ballista, sure. They go down to 12. And they play Death Shadow. So let's go ahead and get a Power Plant. Death Shadow resolves, we untap and draw Ulamog. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. Now if we could top deck another tower right off the top here, that'd be amazing. Opponent Inquisitions, fails to take our Ulamog, and plays a Tarmogoyf. Hits us for 1. We go to 19. We untap and draw Golos. Play Golos. And I don't expect Golos to survive, so I'm just going to get another tower. Pass the turn. The game is over. Golos. Wedge blocking for the Ulamog. Nice. Alright, so versus Death Shadow, my opponent had a ton of hand hate. Man, you know, I think I'm going to cut Walking Ballista for a Veil, but I think that's the only cut I'm going to make. Golos, I think, is actually a reference to Solemn Simulacrum. Like, the flavor of the card seems similar. Like, he's like a legendary Solemn Simulacrum kind of a deal. So we're probably going to get Thoughtseized, and this might be a problem. I think I put back a Karn Great Creator, because while they can take Ancient Stirrings, or they, like, if I put back the Snow-Covered Forest, which is my initial instinct, my opponent can take Ancient Stirrings or Chromatic Star, and they can take Chromatic Star and then they effectively deny us Ancient Stirrings. Whereas if I put back an additional Karn, they either have to take Ancient Stirrings or Karn now, depending on what is worse for them. We have 2/3 of Tron, and they're playing Hex Drinker. We draw Karn Liberated. Play a land, Chromatic Star, pass the turn. Opponent shocks a Blood Crypt. Inquisitions, well, they take Ancient Stirrings, that's unfortunate. Level up. We take 2, go to 18, untap, draw Wormcoil. Cycle for green. Sylvan Scrying. We'll go get Power Plant. Tron next turn. Now my opponent could level up Hexdrinker to 3 to give it protection from instants. They shock a Blood Crypt, going to 12. Play Death Shadow. Level up. Level up. It's a 4/4. They hit us for 4, down to 14. We untap and draw Chromatic Sphere. So leveling this up 5 more times gives it protection from everything. I'm going to play Big Karn here and just take my opponent's last card. It's unlikely they can kill Karn unless they have a removal spell that kills him immediately. I was really worried about Temur Battle Rage. So I could have taken out one of my opponent's creatures, but they Thoughtseize us. They can take Wormcoil or Karn. Or Chromatic Sphere, I guess, if they really, really want to, but that's probably not the case. So they're leveling up. Leveling up. They have 7 damage, so we are dead in 2 turns. They go face. We go to 7. Draw Power Plant. So take out the Hexdrinker. Play Karn. We don't have Sky Sovereign. I guess we just take Ensnaring Bridge. I could take Coding, but I can also do that next turn. So play Ensnaring Bridge, play Chromatic Sphere, pass the turn. And this game should pretty well be locked up at this point. Hexdrinker. Interesting. I've not seen that in Death Shadow. Alright, well, I'll see you guys in round 2. Golos definitely pulled his weight that first match. Alrighty, round 2, and we will be on the draw. I think this is a mulligan. Really close, but this is, I think, also a mulligan. Double Ancient Stirrings. Alright, I can work with double Ancient Stirring. I'm going to put back Forest and a Sphere. And we're going to go YOLO Ancient Stirrings. If I sound a little bit weird, or I appear tired, don't worry, I am. Both weird and tired. But, okay, opponent takes Ancient Stirrings. What happened today, I went weightlifting, and I pulled 500 pounds for a triple deadlift. So, training to get to 565, which will hopefully be next week. But that's why I'm a little bit tired today. Alright, we're getting Thoughtseized, so there goes the Ancient Stirrings, and the competitive advantage of this hand. Am I playing against the same guy? I am playing against the same guy. I should have known better than to keep a hand like this. I should have kept the first hand. We untap. Well, we draw Karn. Sack for green. Ancient Stirrings. Another Power Plant, huh? That's not really what we want. Rest of the bottom. Play Power Plant, play Sphere. Pass the turn. Now, I could have played Star to play around maybe a Kolaghan's Command destroying the Sphere. Hopefully that's not relevant. But it fetches up an Overgrown Tomb untapped. They untap. Play a Swamp. Into a Tarmogoyf. Yep. We draw a Star. Cycle for green. Power Plant number 3. Play Star. Cycle for green. Play Star. Play Power Plant. Play Star. Oh dear. The old triple Tron land. Power Plant Tron. We get bolted. Well, the good news is my opponent is basically out of cards. Opponent plays Bauble. That is no longer the case. They put Lurrus into their hand. Alright. They hit us for 4. We go down to 13. Untap. They draw a card. We draw Karn. Cycle Star for green. Cycle Star for green. Wow. Alright, well, this game is probably over. They play second Tarmogoyf. They're going to hit us to 9. And if they can Thoughtseize us and put a Planeswalker in the grave, they can attack for lethal next turn. Yep. Sometimes you draw 3 Tron lands, and they're not the Tron lands you need. Alright. We'll bring in a Veil, drop Ballista, and I think we're good. Run it back. I could actually bring in Thragtusk for this matchup. It's probably not a bad idea. The life gain could matter a lot, especially if they're a version of the deck that happens to be running Scourge of the Skyclaves. I'm not sure they are, because they do have a lot of threats, especially because we know they're running Hexdrinker and things like that. I'm going to play first. Hopefully we have a fast Tron hand, and we do. I'm going to keep. Do I delay Tron to have Veil? I actually think I do. I would like to protect this Ancient Stirrings. It also might put them off playing a threat on too, thinking I've got a really good hand or something. Hopefully they don't have some incredibly crazy fast fetch, shock, bolt themselves twice, shadow hand or something crazy like that. They lead on Bauble. They crack Bauble. They play a fetch land. Crack the fetch land. Shock an Overgrown Tomb. Hex Drinker. Alright. We untap. They draw a card. We draw Ugin. Okay. We are just gonna try and Veil of Summer our way into an Ugin. Opponent plays a Bauble. Cracks the Bauble on themselves. Second Hex Drinker. Yeah, it looks like Hex Drinker's not very good if you are choked on mana. They hit us down to 18. We untap. They draw a card. We draw a Power Plant. Play Mine. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Now, ideally, my opponent actually goes like land Tarmogoyf this turn. Third Bauble. Level up Hex Drinker. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we've got him. Unfortunately for our opponent. Play Ugin. Yeah, game's over. That is one of the downsides of playing Bauble. It does replace like actual action cards in your hand. It is good for a lot of reasons, but if you keep a hand with one land and a lot of baubles, which I don't think they did, I actually think they drew most of those baubles. This hand is not keepable. This hand is technically keepable, though not very. I'm going to go to 5, even though it's kind of dangerous with as much hand hate as they've got. I'm going to keep this, even though it seems pretty not great. We do have a Blast Zone, and several of their threats are 1 mana, between Hex Drinker and Death Shadow. Opponent starts Bauble Crack, plays Wooded Foothills, cracks Wooded Foothills, gets an Overgrown Tomb, untapped, Hex Drinker, alright. We untap, they draw a card, we draw Power Plant. Excellent. Lead on Power Plant, pass the turn. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs, cracks Verdant Catacombs, gets a Blood Crypt, untapped, going to 14. Bolts themselves, attacks us for 2, we go to 18. They play Death Shadow. Well, if we can get down this Blast Zone before we die, we can take out all of their threats. Opponent plays a Verdant Catacombs, fetches. We're probably going to die to Team or Battle Rage, I've got a feeling. Shocks an Overgrown Tomb. Levels up. Well, they don't have Battle Rage, at least not this turn. They go to combat, they hit us for 7. They must have Assassin's Trophy. We untap and draw Star. Okay, that's exactly what's happening. It's good that they didn't do this during our main phase, or we could activate Blast Zone. We go to our main, play Star, sack it for green, play Mine, pass the turn. I'm not going to play out Blast Zone just in case they don't have the kill and they do have an Assassin's Trophy again. That's what we're playing around right now. Opponent fetches and shocks Blood Crypt. They are representing 10 damage, so any one bit of damage here kills us. Actually, we're just dead to Thoughtseize because they lose life. Well, that sucks. Oh, I forgot they could actually level up Hex Drinker too. We were dead multiple ways here. But that's what we got. We had a sketchy keep. So, alright. On to round 3. Alrighty, we're on the play for round 3, and this is a mulligan. Perfect. We'll keep. And, I think the correct choice is to put back Ulamog here. Maybe it's not. Like, if I'm against control, maybe, like, putting back Wormcoil was better. I'm really worried about burn in this matchup. Like, against an unknown opponent. This matchup. Speaking like I know what my opponent's playing. It's Tron! I should have kept Ulamog. I definitely should have kept Ulamog. However, we know they're green Tron, and we do have a Karn. So this should just be game over. Opponent Stirrings. They find an Urza's Mine. They play an Urza's Mine, and they play a map. We untap. Oh, they didn't even wait to see what I was playing. Opponent, what if it was an Obsidian Golem? Oh, man. Oh, that was the fastest concession in the West. Alright, we'll be bringing in Wilts for this matchup. I'm going to be dropping a Walking Ballista for sure, And a Worm Coil Engine, I think. O-Stone still has value. Yeah. I think that's the only change we make. Alright, game 2. Opponent is on the play and therefore has the advantage. This hand isn't bad, but we can definitely do better on a mulligan to 6. In theory. Yeah, I'm on a 5. We really need just... Okay. I'm putting back Worm Coil and Ulamog. We might be able to get him with a weird wilt on a map or something like that. Pass the turn. Opponent cycles Star for green. So if they end up playing Expedition map this turn, we can get them with wilt, which would be hilarious. They've got the Sylvan Scrying. We untap. Draw Star. Cycle for green. Draw Ancient Stirrings. Play Sphere. Play Tower. Cycle for green. Ancient Stirrings. Alright, Urz is mine. If opponent has Worm Coil Engine, I think we beat them. If they have Golos, I think we beat them. If they have Karn, we don't. They play map. Alright, maybe we don't beat them. Play Karn. They had to get Tower. Take Tower. They'll just get another Tower. They get one more chance at actually assembling Tron here. They may have kept a hand with Ulamog, at which point we will still beat them unless they draw a threat that can deal with Karn. They cycle Wilt as well. Okay. Opponent's turn, Moment of Truth. They do got 2 more draws here. They have Karn. Now here's the question. Do they take out the land or do they take out the Karn? They take out the land. Alright. We untap. Okay. Play Tower. Play Star. Sack it for green. We get an Oblivion Stone, which we can play but not activate, so Ancient Stirrings. We'll take Expedition map. Rest of the bottom, any order. So awkward. They didn't have a threat on just Tron. The problem's going to be if they have another tower and an Ulamog. So play an Expedition map. Play Sphere. Cycle it. Alright, well we kind of have a backup plan now. So take out Karn. Pass the turn. I could have left up... I probably should have left up the Chromatic Sphere for actually casting Wilt / maybe... Okay, opponent plays a Forest. They play Ugin. Alright, well we're not scared of an Ugin. They shoot us for 3. Let's go get Sanctum of Ugin. Untap. We draw another Mine. Play Sanctum. Play Ugin. Sack Sanctum. And I'm gonna get Golos. Uptick, shoot their Ugin. Pass the turn. They shoot our Ugin. Dueling Ugins. Opponent plays Blast Zone. We untap. We draw a tower. Should have just went for... the stupid... What do you call it? Ulamog. Should have done it. I can either play out O-Stone and leave up activation, or I can play out Golos. Golos is higher upside. I can still play out Oblivion Stone, but that also gives my opponent a Blast Zone target, I guess. So Golos... We'll go and get Cascading Cataracts. I'm going to play out Urza's Mine and play O-Stone. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way is my opponent, having already taken one of my towers, if they have another Karn, is incentivized to take my other tower. If they do that, they leave Golos up, and then we get an activation and potentially can swing at something. Opponent is going to tick Blast Zone up to 3, maybe? They're going to tick Blast Zone up to 5? Can they do that? They can. They have just enough mana. They shoot our Ugin. They play a Mine. Now they're blowing up all 5 drops. Interesting. Opponent plays Karn, Great Creator. So we can no longer activate Oblivion Stone. If they wish with Karn, we kill it with Ugin. And we can wilt whatever they get. So they uptick, no targets. We untap. We draw Golos. We can't activate his abilities, though. So shoot Karn. Play Tower. Play Golos. Let's go get a power plant. Just so we have double of all the Tron lands. Pass the turn. Man, if my opponent did not have that Karn, we could be getting in for Golos value. Opponent casts Weather the Storm. Why are you playing Weather the Storm? That does not seem right. Is this a main deck Weather the Storm? I must be missing something. forest channel. Like, I was like trying to think of any reason that they would have to be above 20 life here. From what I see, they can't kill Golos. They won't be able to kill Ugin. They can wish for something with Karn, but that guarantees Karn dies. Because whatever they get, even if it's Pithing Needle or Sorcerous Spyglass on Ugin, we're holding the Pocket Wilt, which I've been holding on to religiously. Sorcerous Spyglass. They shoot our Ugin with their Ugin. They play Sanctum. Okay, they play Spyglass. They get to see what's going on. The only way that my current plan goes wrong, I think, is if they have a Dismember as their last card in hand, which, if my opponent's running Weather the Storm in the main deck, I don't know if they even have Dismember, completely honest here. Opponent names Golos. Wilt Spyglass on their end step. We untap. Draw Wormcoil. Uptick kill Karn. So white, blue, black, red, green, 2 mana. Activate Golos. Cast Stirrings. We get a star. I could get my last tower. I've not played a land yet, so maybe I just get the tower. I could play a... No, I'm still going to get a star. I can play a land this turn. Play Power Plant. I can only wilt my Oblivion Stone. I guess I could play star and wilt it, and play an 8-drop. Or, you know, Karn. We did it! Exile Ugin. Opponent gets 1 turn with Tron, but we have 3 individual super powerful threats. And redundant Tron lands, so... Like, my opponent basically needs Ulamog here. They found it. So I think they have to take out Karn and Golos. They do. Okay. So they get to sack Sanctum. They tutor up another Ulamog. But they basically have to hope that we don't draw an Ulamog here. Okay, we draw Karn. Karn works. Play Karn. Wish. We will get... I could get Golos and wheel with Golos, but if I miss, it's a huge problem. My opponent can still cast Ulamog, actually. I have no way to deal with the Ulamog in their hand. I can play Ensnaring Bridge to stop this Ulamog from attacking, but then they can just Ulamog to kill it and keep the one that can attack. So we're going to take Golos. Play Golos. We'll go tutor out a tower, I guess. Activate Golos. Oh, this is awful. Play Blast Zone. Play Star. Cast Scrying. Get an Urza's Mine. Uptick. Shoot my opponent. Cycle Star for green. We draw another Ugin. Oh no, they're gonna have another... they're gonna have another Ulamog. They're gonna attack, because why wouldn't they? Well, come on, there's no way you don't attack here. They're gonna attack Karn Great Creator. So we're gonna go down to 5 cards left in deck. There goes our Ulamogs. I think that's game. I just don't think we can beat this. So either, like, whether we block or don't, we lose Karn. So we'll just let Karn die. And Ulamog is indestructible, so O-Stone doesn't do anything here. Maybe I needed to... Maybe I needed to get Liquimetal Coating and shut off Urza's Tower. I don't know. I think getting Golos and trying to wheel into a huge threat was correct. I really do. Because we needed some way to interact with my opponent's mana to at least survive a hit from Ulamog, but my opponent can just take out Golos and Ugin. Like, Ugin ulting doesn't even do anything. It kills us because we draw 7 cards. We don't have 7 cards left in the deck. Alright, we untap. We draw Urza's Mine. Are all of my Karns in there? It's 3 Karn Great Creator. If I had actually drawn Karn Liberated, there is some chance I could win this game by plussing on myself and then restarting. But that's the kind of Tron game I like playing. This is Tron versus Tron, and it's not over on turn 3. Because stuff generally gets real interesting at that point. I think we're okay to just run it back. This is mostly fine. Alright, I'll play first. That's a mulligan. I mean, if we draw a Tron piece, we have turn 3 Karn into turn 4 Ulamog, but we have to draw a Tron piece. Okay, show game log. Did my opponent mulligan? They also mulligan. I think we just have to go for it. This is a little better, potentially. I will keep 5 of these. I am going to put back Power Plant, and I'm going to put back Ugin. that game kind of shows in the Tron mirror match, Ugin is not actually that great. And we need to draw Karn Liberated or Karn Great Creator by turn 3. That's basically what's got to happen. There's Karn Great Creator. Let's go get Tower. So as long as my opponent, I think, doesn't have a Ghost Quarter, we're okay. They play Power Plant, we untap, draw Blast Zone, play Tower, Karn Great Creator. They get an Urza's Tower. Yeah, I think we just have to go for coding. Potentially, like, Spyglass might actually be better, but coding accomplishes most of the same things, with the exception of my opponent having their own Karn the Great Creator. So shut off mine on their upkeep. They play Tower. They do have Karn Great Creator. They plus him to 6. We untap. Draw Snow-Covered Forest. I can wish for Ballista and play him X4. I can play Sorceress Spyglass. I can just Ancient Stirrings, and if I hit Karn Liberated, probably win the game. That's frustrating. So none of these do anything. I'll take the Forest, rest to the bottom. I can either animate Coding and attack Karn, but I think we wish for Sorceress Spyglass. Because if my opponent has another Planeswalker threat that we forced them to play Great Creator instead of, yep, get Spyglass. Play Spyglass. Karn Great Creator. Alright, time to name Karn Great Creator. Pass the turn. So we know our opponent's hand. Opponent untaps. Any Tron land gets us to Ulamog, and that definitely wins the game. They play a Forest, so they can Wilt, destroying Spyglass. They can Wish with Karn, get like Walking Ballista, kill our Karn. They just let us untap. Cascading Cataracts. Play Blast Zone. So they're going to Wilt on our end step. They just cycled Wilt. They also didn't play a land last turn. If they draw Ulamog and get out of this, I'm going to be so mad. Alright, opponent passes. We untap. We draw Golos. Okay, this is... Opponent, I think, should have beaten us, but they misclicked. So cast Ulamog, take out their lands. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays Power Plant. We untap, draw Power Plant. Go to combat. Attack Karn Great Creator. We exile a bunch of their deck, and opponent scoops. Whew! Yeah, I don't think we actually were going to win that match, but I definitely think my opponent misclicked. I will see you guys in round 4. Alright, welcome back to We Have As Much Mana As We Will Ever Possibly Need. I'm going to keep this. I mean, we just have to draw any threat by turn 3, and we're good to go. Alright, Ancient Stirrings does a pretty good job of that. So we'll start Urza's Mine, pass the turn. Opponent is on Jund of some variety, probably regular Jund, if I had to guess. They play a Swamp. Into a 0-1 Tarmogoyf. We draw a Forest. Sack Sphere for green. There's Karn. Play Tower. Scrying. Get Power Plant. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Shocks an Overgrown Tomb. Plays Lily. Upticks. I'm going to discard a Tower. I think that's fine. They discard Kroxa. They hit us for 4, down to 16. We untap, draw Expedition Map, play Power Plant, play Karn. We're going to make them have the Lightning Bolt. Pass the turn. And the reason I'm fine making them have the Lightning Bolt is because they also play Assassin's Trophy, so there's a decent chance that we need to be able to deal with that eventuality. Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. Lily going to uptick to 5 here. We're going to discard Expedition Map, I believe. I mean, I could go get Blast Zone, and Blast Zone would answer Lily, but just about anything we hit off of Ancient Stirrings would also do that. I'm going to discard Urza's Mine, actually, now that I think about it. Opponent's got Kolaghan's Command. We untap and draw Expedition Map. Yep, I'm going to go for the Ancient Stirrings play. Hopefully this works. Karn Great Creator, Wormcoil Engine. Yeah, I mean, we got to go with the Great Creator. Rest of the bottom, any order. Play Great Creator. Wish. We will get a Liquimetal Coding. Play Coding. Play Map. Now, the reason I got Coding is because my opponent has to answer Karn Great Creator rather than just, like, K-commanding our, what's it called? Sorceress Spyglass, if I named Liliana. Opponent plays a Verdant Catacombs, cracks Verdant Catacombs. They can't reanimate Kroxa this turn, which is good. They do have a Seasoned Pyromancer, though. Discarding Nurturing Peatland, drawing 2 cards. We untap. We draw a Walking Ballista. Play a Tower. Play the hugest Ballista. Do nothing with it yet. Play out our other expedition map. And we're going to blow up Raging Ravine. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play Renin 6. Picking up Catacombs. They attack Karn. Block. This does mean we can't kill Lily if they were to down tick. No, we could still kill Lily. Ping. 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 We just miss out on 2 damage by blocking. But that's honestly fine. No creatures to sack. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs. We untap. Draw a Chromatic Star. So I think what I'm going to do is get another big Ballista here. Crack map. Get a tower. Play tower. Wish. Get Ballista. Play Ballista, X6. Ping down Renin 6 now. Pass the turn. Stop on their upkeep. They don't have 2 red sources. So shut off Blood Crypt. Okay. Opponent Inquisitions away our Chromatic Star. Plays a Tarmogoyf. We untap. Draw Expedition map. Shut off Blood Crypt. Blow it up. Activate Expedition map. Go get Sanctum of Ugin. Play Sanctum. Play map. And pass the turn. Now we can either activate map again if we want, or we could put a 5th counter on Ballista. I don't think there's any real reason to do that. Opponent plays Bloodstained Mire. Cracks Bloodstained Mire. Gets a Stomping Ground untapped. So they got something red they're going to cast this turn. Bloodbraid. Cascading into a Lightning Bolt. That's pretty good. They kill Karn. Sure. Bloodbraid resolves. They attack with Tarmogoyf and they attack with Bloodbraid. They're hitting us for 9. If I put a counter on Ballista and he goes up to 5, I just untap, put a bunch of counters on Ballista and fireball my opponent to death? Yeah, so we just take this damage. Counter on Ballista. Untap. Draw Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Counter up Ballista. Counter up Ballista. Counter on Ballista. Counter on Ballista. And then the hidden double strike mode of Ballista. Hit them for 9. Ping. Ping. I think that's the best Ballista highlight I've ever had in Tron versus any deck. So that was pretty sweet. So versus Tron, I kind of want to play Thragtusk. Just because it's a creature they have to answer twice. The life gain buys us time. Ballista, I think, is fine in the sideboard here. Even though it worked really, really well there. We also wished for 1. I think I cut an Ulamog. It's just it's slightly more ambitious than I want it to be. And I think while Veil of Summer is probably fine. Actually, yeah, I'm going to drop an O-Stone for a Veil of Summer. Just on the off chance we get like a counter Assassin's Trophy play or counter Maelstrom Pulse. Alright, we'll keep. I think this hand is alright. It folds a little bit hard to like turn 1 Thoughtseize, but There's a lot of cards we can draw turn 1 that make this hand good. If I get a turn 1 expedition map, it's great. If they thought seize me and take Chromatic Star and I draw Chromatic Star or Sphere, it's great. Alright. Opponent does not have turn 1 hand hate. So start Power Plant, Star. Pass the turn. If they do Assassin's Trophy us, we can still cast Ancient Stirrings. They get an Overgrown Tomb tapped, so pass the turn. Plays a Swamp. They play Tarmogoyf, alright. We untap. We draw a Chromatic Sphere. So sack Star for green. We draw Golos. The question is, yeah, I think so the question is, do we go deep, playing Star, cracking Star for green, and then Ancient Stirrings, trying to hit the last, the tower? And I think the answer is yes. Sphere we don't want sitting around on board, because if it gets destroyed, that's actually quite bad for us. Oof. I guess I take Map. Map gives me the ability to top deck a land and then get to Tron, but we really needed to hit Tower there. I could have taken Sanctum, but the problem is Sanctum doesn't allow me to cast anything I can't already cast, except O-Stone, but O-Stone doesn't do anything on 3 mana, so obviously if we top deck Tower, that's amazing and fantastic. If we don't, that's kind of tough luck. If this is a main phase Assassin's Trophy, that's actually insane. That's really good against us. Because, number 1, it pumps the Tarmogoyf, and number 2, we are now very far off of Tron. I have to top deck another Tron piece this turn, basically. There it is. We would have had it, too. That's actually insane. So, play Tower. Play Map. As long as they don't have Surgical, I guess, we're probably alright. Or Krosan Grip. Or another Assassin's Trophy really is what would do it, but it plays a Mountain. 4 mana. Bloodbraid, wheeling into Kolaghan's Command. That's probably just shock mode plus discard. I can't imagine they would target Expedition Map with Destroy. Yep, okay. Let's go get Urza's Mine. We're going to discard Golos. Bloodbraid enters the battlefield. They're going to hit us for 8 and take us to 6, so if they have 2 Lightning Bolts, we're dead. Or if they Bloodbraid into another Lightning Bolt. We untap. Draw Karn. Play Urza's Mine. We're going to have to hope Ugin is enough. Play Ugin. -4 Ugin. Pass the turn. Yeah, we gotta hope they're on a direct damage light hand, because we just took a ton. We get Inquisition, they can take Oblivion Stone. If we draw a Tron land, I'm wishing for Wormcoil. They take Oblivion Stone. So they don't have Bloodbraid, which is good. Opponent plays Renin 6. They pick up Verdant Catacombs. They play Verdant Catacombs. And they pass. We untap. Draw Chromatic Sphere. Do we still get Wormcoil? I think the answer is yes. So we're going to let them keep this Renin 6, because 5 and 6 is basically... Or no, we can't wish for Wormcoil. What am I thinking? So play Karn. Play Chromatic Sphere. Sack it for green. We get Sylvan Scrying. I have not played a land yet this turn. So Sylvan Scrying. Get a tower. Play a tower. Wish. And I think our best bet is to get Walking Ballista. This leaves a 1/1 around on board that we can chump block a Bloodbraid with haste. Yeah, we didn't draw a land, so I couldn't get Wormcoil there with Karn. Okay, opponent cracks Verdant Catacombs. Gets an Overgrown Tomb, untapped. Do they... Red-green. Ancient Grudge. Well, ping our opponent. Opponent is top decking. They have nothing right now. So this top deck is everything. And it's nothing. Whew, that was close. But we won the match, and we are guaranteed a treasure chest. So I will see you all in round 5. Well, we're on the play for round 5, and it's another mulligan. And then a key. Our opponent is a Lurrus deck. So I'm going to put back Ulamog. Start Power Plant, play Star, and pass the turn. Opponent is probably Death Shadow. They could be burn. I'm really glad to see they're not mill. Blood Crypt, untapped, into Swift Spear. So it's looking like burn. We get hit for 1, go to 19. We draw Expedition Map, which is just a card 2 deep. We get a Worm Coil, which is good as long as we assemble Tron. Play Star, play Tower. Sack Star for green. We get a Power Plant. We're looking for Mine. No Mine. Take Tower. Rest of the bottom. Pass the turn. They have Thoughtseize? Oh, that sucks. There goes our Tron. And we just used up all our colored mana, too. Yep. I was really thinking, I was like, oh yeah, they're just burn. They're not going to be playing Thoughtseize. Well, they're playing Thoughtseize. Alright. Mine off the top. Dang it. Play Tower. Pass the turn. They hit us for 1. Opponent is on a very slow shadow hand. They shock Overgrown Tomb. Play Scourge. We untap. We draw Golos. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. And we're probably dead. That Expedition Map was just 1 card too deep in the starting hand. They attack us for 5. We go to 11. Red-green Tarmogoyf. Okay, if we draw exactly Urza's Mine, or Sphere into Urza's Mine. There it is. Alrighty then. I'm gonna get him with the old Ugin. Yep. -2. Opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. Blood Crypt untapped. Cracks Wooded Foothills. Blood Crypt untapped. Fatal pushes. Fatal pushes. They're trying to save their guys from the exile so that they can lure us them back. I respect it, but it's not enough. I really did not expect to win that game. But, you know, top deck Ugin. So, Walking Ballista out for sure. I'm going to bring in a Thrag Tusk. Oblivion Stone out. I'm going to bring in a Veil. I'm going to keep a Worm Coil in the side because I do want to wish for it. I could bring them in over like Golos, but I think this is our strongest configuration versus my opponent. I guess technically I should cut an Ulamog for maybe the other Veil of Summer, but because they could play Assassin's Trophy. Lots of Death Shadow this league. We're on the draw. I'm going to risk that they're going to start on Swift Spear again, or Hex Drinker or something. If they lead on Thoughtseize, that could be problematic. And it is. Okay, we untap. Draw Ancient Stirrings. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. Come on, top deck Tron luck. Let's go. The old top deck Tron luck. Opponent plays a Swift Spear. They are on 1 mana, so we draw another Power Plant, play Mine, pass the turn. We will, in theory, get to play an O-Stone. The issue with my opponent keeping a 1-lander is it means that of 6 cards in their hand, 6 cards are ways to interact with us. Opponent goes to combat, hits us for 1. We go down to 18. Okay, they play Verdant. So they did get their second land. They shock Overgrown Tomb, go to 15. Scourge. As a 2/2, we untap. We draw Karn. Play Power Plant. Play O-Stone. Pass the turn. And if they Assassin's Trophy that O-Stone, they are going to be in for a world of hurt. Okay, they're going to Assassin's Trophy the Tron land they know we don't have a duplicate of, which is a reasonable play here. They're going to hit us for 4, which is going to increase the size of Scourge by a lot. We draw Star. Ancient Stirrings. We'll take a Tower. Rest of the bottom. Play Star. Cycle for green. Get a Thrag Tusk. Okay. Play Tower. Pass the turn. And next turn, provided we aren't dead, which we are dead to a Tamer Battle Rage, which my opponent almost certainly has, we can activate O-Stone to stay in this game, potentially play Thrag Tusk to stay alive. My opponent is leading on Thoughtseize, I think, as a Dismember check, because they're playing like they have Battle Rage for lethal. There it is. That's game. Alright, game 3, we will be on the play. I'm going to cut an Ulamog for our other Veil, and try it like this. I would like to play first. Alright, it's turn 3 Tron, and we're not disrupted by 1 Thoughtseize, so play Mine, play Map, pass the turn, opponent untaps, probably going to lead on Thoughtseize here. If they do, I think they take Worm Coil, as Worm Coil is definitely the hardest threat for them to deal with. simply because it dies and creates other value tokens. The Inquisition, so they can take map and nothing else. Alright, we untap, we draw O-Stone, play Power Plant, pass the turn. So they've got to have Assassin's Trophy if they want to disrupt us this turn. Alpine Moon. God. Alright. So they can name a land and now it taps for any color. They probably name Urza's Tower, because why wouldn't you? And because these check for land types as opposed to land names, they don't tap for duplicates. Opponent did keep a one-lander, though. We're still going to get Tower. We draw a Chromatic Sphere. Yep, those still tap for 1. Play O-Stone. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Nothing. We draw Power Plant. Play Sanctum. Play Star. Pass the turn. They Lightning Bolt themselves. Okay. So they're trying really hard to get down to Shadow life total. As long as Alpine Moon is on the board, we have green mana. And as long as it's not, we have Tron mana. So, play a land, pass the turn, leave up O-Stone. Only way this goes wrong is if my opponent has an answer for O-Stone, and then another Alpine Moon. And even then, we're just hard casting Worm Coils after that, so we should be okay. And like a lot of Worm Coils. This opponent fetches and shocks Overgrown Tomb, so they can play Death Shadow if they want, but we have an active O-Stone. They get Assassin's Trophy us to take us off Tron, but they can't take us off of casting Worm Coil that way. Okay, they pass the second main, and then their end step. Crack Oblivion Stone. Alpine Moon goes away. We untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. So here comes the Assassin's Trophy. On the mine. Okay. Get a Forest. Pass to second main because I clicked too many times. Play Power Plant. Play Worm Coil. Pass the turn. I could have played Golos to guarantee I still have Tron, but I think Worm Coil being on the board is much more important, considering that their easiest way to answer Worm Coil is with a Thoughtseize. So having it on the board makes it a situation they have to deal with. They fetch and shock a Blood Crypt. Play Death Shadow as a 5/5. Play another Death Shadow and a third one. We untap. We draw Ulamog. Ancient Stirrings. Get Urza's Mine. Rest at the bottom. Play Urza's Mine. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 mana. Yeah, I think we just gotta go for the Ulamog, exiling 2 shadows. Nice. And we 4-1 with Golos-Tron. That's good. That's good. I like this deck. I think it's a viable alternative to Tron. It's definitely not bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with this deck list. I think I would drop the Walking Ballista out of the main and probably do a few tweaks here. But other than that, let's open our treasure chest, shall we? Treasure chest number 1. 5 play points, a Daring Apprentice, and a Serpentine Spike. Treasure chest number 2. 20 play points, and a Phyrexian Plague Lord, the original rock creature. Treasure chest number 3. 10 play points, and a Tower of Eons. Treasure chest number 4. 5 play points, ooh, a Fiery Islet and a Leyline of the Void. That is worth something. So Fiery Islet. That is 12 tickets. And Leyline of the Void is 4 tickets. So that was a 16-ticket treasure chest. I think we've actually gone positive now. Final treasure chest number 5. 10 play points and a Traumatize. Okay. I think Golos is in a little bit of a weird spot for me. I said this deck is good. I still stand by that. Golos is, to me, a lot like Ulamog. It's another creature that you can you do something on turn 3 and you get the result on turn 4. It sticking around is, I'm not sure how likely. It doesn't die to bolt. It doesn't die to push, both of which is important. We didn't play against anything that played Path or Blood Chief's Thirst. So it is a resilient enough creature that I'm comfortable playing it. Playing it on 5 versus another, or playing it on turn 3 versus another Tron deck or proactive combo deck, I think is less than ideal. For those matchups, you're still going to want to be landing your Karn Liberated, Karn Great Creator, wishing for your Silver Bullet or otherwise ending the game. But, I mean, versus the decks that are trying to Assassin's Trophy you and stuff like that, I think it's really good. I also think it's somewhat decent in the Tron matchup, in the event that you're not dying on turn 3. Just tutoring up a redundant land, even if you're not getting Cascading Cataracts, having another land tutor in the deck feels kind of nice. And it's pretty high value, pretty high variance. If you wheel into 3 threats, you're definitely winning the game on the spot. If you just hit Sphere, Star, Wilt, like I think I did one time, you're not guaranteed to win the game. Although we did wilt our own Star for free because we were going to lose that wilt. And we ended up drawing what we needed with Karn. That was pretty sweet. That was kind of an interesting line of play I'm glad that I took. I think the sideboard is fine. The wishboard kind of pared down to what it is pretty close to the minimum. Whether or not you play Sorcerer, Spyglass, or Pithing Needle is up to you. Most frequently, I'm going to prefer Pithing Needle because, like in the Tron matchup, we discussed this a little bit, where if you Liquid Metal Coating your opponent and they don't have Tower on the board, they're going to have 5 mana, so they can play their own Karn Great Creator, and then they can wish for Pithing Needle if they've got it. So, the 2 mana versus 1 mana matters there. If that happens to you, you're going to want to be able to wish for Pithing Needle, and if you've got Sorcerer Spyglass in the sideboard and not Pithing Needle, you're really gonna be hurting. If you are adept enough at the game that you've been playing for long enough, the cards should almost be functionally identical. The only time that Sorcerer Spyglass is better is if you're playing something that's very off meta, or your opponent is playing a really, wild card threat. Like they're playing Chandra Torch of Defiance in addition to like a Chandra Pyromancer or something like that. A Planeswalker threat that's not normally played is what I'm trying to get at. And I think in the general sense it should be Pithing Needle. However, if you have not played the game, and I'm not even good enough, I will freely admit, I'm not even good enough to say that I want Pithing Needle and over Sorcerer Spyglass 100% of the time. A lot of the Tron decks that I play both in the sideboard to have the option if I can make the room. But if you're really, really good at the game, those cards should basically be functionally identical, because you should either know what threats your opponent has in their deck and what threats they have in their hand based on the lands they play, their sequencing. But not everybody can do that. I can only do that some of the time. So keeping Sorcerer Spyglass in is fine, but I think I really want a Pithing Needle either in addition or over Sorcerer Spyglass a good portion of the time. I have not been a huge fan of Walking Ballista in Tron. I think it's a threat that deserves to be in the sideboard the majority of the time. This league has kind of changed my opinion on that. We played 4 Jund decks, 3 of which were Jund Death Shadow, 1 of which was actual Jund, and then our last matchup was Tron. And I will say in those matchups, Walking Ballista in the main really bailed us out of a couple of binds, and Walking Ballista out of the side definitely won us a game, possibly a match. And I have a newfound respect for Walking Ballista in Tron. I think it is metagame dependent, but I'm still not the biggest fan of it, but it did good here. It really did good and deserves recognition for it. I think other than that, the only issue with this particular list anyone is going to run into is if you take this particular list into a dredge heavy meta, you're going to get stomped. You just having the Grafdigger's Cage in the sideboard is not enough. We've lost on Relic to have access to Golos in the main. I don't know how I feel about double Oblivion Stone in this list. You could actually drop the Oblivion Stones entirely and play Relics of Progenitus if you wanted to. I think that would be reasonable. If not, you could shift one of them into the side, dropping a Thragtusk. Golos actually kind of helps in the aggro matchups a little bit because he is a threat that blocks versus mono red and stuff like that. And he does so quite well. He blocks and in most situations should survive the block, or at least draw enough resources to buy you time. It's not as good as a Thragtusk in that regard. just raw gaining you life, blocking, buying you a ton of time, but he sort of fulfills that function. So I could see a situation where you drop a Thragtusk out of the side, move an Oblivion Stone to the side, drop the other one from the main, and then play a couple of Relics of Progenitus if you're in a dredge heavy meta, something like that. But I think I've rambled enough about this. I think this list is very solid, and I'm probably going to play this list at least a couple more times. I'm sorry for the lack of Tron content. I was taking a break doing some other stuff. I had a kind of an interesting moment, and this is we're getting into the non-Magic related stuff, so I promise I'll be quick. I had an interesting moment this week where I was thinking about, like, I kind of didn't want to play Tron, and I had enough other decks that I was like, oh, I gotta play these. They're competitive decks. They look sweet. I'm gonna play Jund for the first time. That was really, really fun, and I'm glad that there was a lot of interest in that. And I was like dreading playing Tron because I felt like there was this expectation that, you know, I have to play Tron. There's an expectation that I have to make these videos every day. And I was getting into this weird mindset of like, I gotta do this. And it made it like this big awful thing when it's not. Like, I sat down tonight and I was like, I'm gonna play some Golos Tron. That sounds like a lot of fun. And it's just one of those things that I needed to remember that I do this because I enjoy it, and yes, there are expectations. People want me to play one thing or the other, but like, the main reason I do this is because I love doing this, and I love that there are so many people that enjoy the fact that I do this, and I don't know why I was letting it get to me, but I like taking it seriously. I like making content for you guys, and I really, really hope you guys enjoyed this. We're over 900 subs now, which is fantastic. We are well on our way to 1,000. At which point I will shut up about it forever because that's the only subscriber milestone that I've wanted to hit. And, you know, after that, it's going to be sole focus on just making good content and doing what it is that I really enjoy. I'm going to be probably experimenting a little bit with the formula. Like I mentioned early on in this video, I'm going to be doing some box openings for Strixhaven. It's been a long time since I've tried to acquire paper cards, and I've just like, you know, I've been dreading trying to store them or handle them or do anything with them. But I need something to do away from the computer screen. And it's interesting because I can do a box opening and then I can worry about organizing management, stuff like that on my own time. And, you know, shut my brain off and just work on that for a little bit and kind of recover. And I'm super excited for that. I'm super excited to make something a little bit new that I've never done for you guys and just kind of experiment to see how it goes. See if that's something that you guys enjoy watching. I know they're really popular, and I'm not just doing it because it's popular. I kind of have a genuine desire to start collecting the alternate art mystical archive cards. Like those, some of those that have been spoiled are really, really cool to me. I love the art for Time Warp. I love the art for Ponder. I love the art. Is it Ponder? I don't think it's Ponder. There's another one. Demonic Tutor, I think, is really sweet. And so I'm looking forward to actually collecting some of these cards in paper again. And if I can share that with you guys, I'm going to. If I can't, or if it's not something that's popular, then I just won't do it. That's how it's gonna go. That's all. If it's not something you guys enjoy as much as I do. So anyway, I think I've rambled enough. You guys are awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next one. You're all wonderful human beings, and thanks for watching. Bye!